Hello. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Azadeh and I am the training manager for Jordan and Palestine. On behalf of the other training managers and the CPF team, I want to welcome you to this round of EMENA CPF 2020 Advanced Online Training. One of the objectives of this round of training is to produce, or if you have already started as part of the advanced training last year, to complete a watch list of the most threatened significant sites in your country. We will show you different techniques, software and tools as part of this training which can help you to produce such a list. Before officially starting our training next week, and in order to prepare you in advance of our training, we wanted to explain very briefly this concept of watch list, what we mean by it and why it is important, and to ask you to start to think about it as well. I am going to turn my webcam off and to start a short presentation on this subject. Okay, now I want to show you a short presentation on this concept of watch list. What is a watch list? Watch list is a list of the most threatened heritage places. And heritage can be defined as it is defined in your country. It could be archaeological sites, monuments, historic buildings, structures, historic cities, etc. In this slide, I wanted to give you a few examples of watch lists. The first one is the UNESCO World Heritage Endangered List, which is the list of properties that are already inscribed on World Heritage List, but are either under imminent danger, which means sites or monuments and buildings that are under severe deterioration of material or deterioration of structure, and are in threats of, for example, collapse, or it could be heritage that is or properties that are under threat of potential danger. And examples of potential danger could be threatening effect of regional or town planning, lack of conservation policy, threat of armed conflict, etc. The second one is the World Monuments Watch List, which is a World Monument Fund advocacy program, as part of which an independent panel of experts every 2 years selects 100 candidates. And this list calls for international attention and fund to threaten cultural heritage which are under threat because of neglect, conflict, natural disaster, or other reasons. The last one is from the UK, is Historic England's Heritage at Risk Register, which identifies historic places that are most at risk. This could be as a result of neglect, decay, inappropriate development, and other reasons. And these sites are the sites that are most in need of protection. The register includes a mix of archaeological sites, buildings, parks, conservation areas, etc. Why are we producing such a list? What is the purpose of a watch list? It helps to understand overall condition of heritage and identify the ones that are most at risk and in need of safeguarding and protection. It also helps to call for attention at national and international level and to raise funds for those sites in need. Also, such lists can be used for research to understand whether a specific type of heritage and archaeology is under threat and or is getting destroyed, to identify threats that have produced or will produce the most destructive damage to the sites based on this act of monitoring or condition monitoring over time, and to identify whether there are any patterns, location, based on location, type, etc., type of sites, etc. And also such lists are used to help with conservation planning, to identify strategies, mitigation and preservation based on identified issues and problems, and also to raise funds and or prioritize allocation of available resources in terms of human and financial resources to implement intervention and mitigation strategies. When you do prioritization of sites, I wanted to say that there are different ways of looking at this priority. This based on the institution or the project that you're working on. It could be based on condition of archaeology, how bad is the condition of archaeology, but could be also based on both condition and significance and value of heritage, how much the site is important and how bad is the condition. Also, intervention activities that we are identifying can also be prioritized based on how easy is those implementation and how bad and severe are the identified threats to the archaeology that we're assessing. For Imina CPF watchlist, we want to create a watchlist of the most threatened significant sites in your country. So we're looking for the sites that are most at risk and are most significant. We will ask you to contribute and make a list of 5 to 10 sites that you think it should be included on the list. In choosing the sites, try to think about representativeness and importance of a type of archaeology, culture or period in a specific region, and also from the other side, the highest possibility of threat and a level of severity of condition of sites in need of protection. Some criteria that you can start to think about to include in your list or to base your list on, and that we will reintroduce this more on week 4 when it's more about creation of a watch list, is site type, or what kind of heritage are we talking about, what is its interpretation, main culture or period of the sites, what is the threat, type of threat that you've identified, and what is the probability of that threat to happen, whether it's a planned or certain threat or possible or likely, so the probability of the threat to happen, what is the overall condition, at the present overall condition of the site, how do you define the level of priority for your site, and what is the level of significance of the heritage or the site that you're adding to the list. I wanted to thank you for listening to the first video of our training. Now we would like you to start to think about examples of the most threatened sites that could be added to the list. We are looking forward to work with you in the next 6 weeks. For any questions, comments, and concerns that you might have, contact your training manager via email, WhatsApp group, or the Facebook WhatsApp or the Facebook group. Happy online training all.